I was recently reminded of the most important lesson when it comes to selling AI growth infrastructure is implementing AI systems into companies to help them grow, which is that not every company has the same sales cycle length. And if you sell your AI system or your AI solution to a company where their prospects learn of them today and make a decision to transact with them in a week or in a month, and you try to make that same value proposition to a business where they're making millions of dollars every single year, but maybe each deal takes 6 months to close because it's really high ticket or longer, it will kill you. Because the same offer that is amazing and thriving in this niche, in this market, is gonna bankrupt you in this market. And I wanted to share a call that I had with one of our clients who's selling AI systems into the Italian market, going after construction businesses, and show you guys how his perspective was taking this offer that might work for these smaller, shorter sales cycle, businesses, and try to apply to this market. And he was trying to make it make sense, but it doesn't make sense. And I think this is going to be super valuable if you guys go through the whole thing and avoid this mistake, because doing it wrong equals literally death. Find it helpful, enjoy, and comment, and let me know what you guys think. And if you guys want to cook, always a link below. We can get to cooking. Let's go.
Hey, Dennis. Yeah, please. Let's start and cook.
Hi, Serge. So right now I had a strange situation because I got 2 clients and I wanted to ask you about a change that maybe I should apply in my guarantee. And I was looking for advice because I had a call previously with Bianca and also had a small suggestion from Brandon. Currently, I have a client which never run ads and basically is based in Sicily, southern part of Italy, and he would like to target 2 big regions in Italy. So he doesn't want to stay local. And he had a previous business which was doing 2 to 3 million euros per year in revenue. And he had some partners he shares he had. So basically he started his own thing. He doesn't have customers yet. And he never ran ads, but he'd like to focus only on new constructions. So I'm still talking about the home construction, home remodeling niche. And he wanted to ideally have at least 500K projects. So that's why he was interested in new constructions, because then he can make the project, he can make he has the full package. It doesn't have just like the home remodeling jobs, which usually may be under 100K. So I talked with Bianca about the ads cost, and my current guarantee that I was offering to other clients was that I had the 90-day build and release offer. And in the 90 days, I can also manage the ads for them. And that would be 5K or in paid in full, or 7.5K over the 3 months with 2.5K per month if they want to do the installments plan. The issue is like the guarantee is either you make back your investment, which is, let's say, the 5K paid in full, or you have your money back. So we refund the difference. In case you have a, let's say, 2.5K, then we're going to refund you just the 2.5K. So since I have this refund policy, this is heavily dependent on minimum 50 euros per day of ad spend during the 90 days contract. The issue is, as I saw with Bianca, is that if he wants not just like €500,000 project, even let's say 200 to 300K, that's a high ticket project usually. And of course, that would be really hard to guarantee in 90 days to get that kind of a deal for them. So I was wondering, would you suggest me changing the guarantee, meaning that since I need to factor in the ad spend for them, in fact, tomorrow I'm going to have the second call with this guy, which wanted to run the numbers for him. And I wanted to get back feedback from Bianca and tell to him, look, it's going to be at least 100 to 200 euro a day in ad spend. So you're going to spend a bit of money. But I was wondering, would you extend the contract, or because I was figuring out how to change the guarantee for this client, just to be sure I'm not promising like things that I cannot accomplish.
I think it's important to just super clear with because what was he traditionally doing? How does he make money? Is it just people know him in his community, refer him? He does cold outreach. What does he do?
So it was all referrals, never run ads.
Okay.
And he had partners before, but now he said that I can actually pull all the team together. So even if I ever work in other region, which is one in the northern part of Italy, which economically speaking is much better for projects like this, because the southern part of Italy usually is more broke, let's say, in a sense.
It's important to understand that when you're dealing with a already operating business owner, it's good to not necessarily worry so much about like okay, what am I going to promise? Is this going to work? Is it like I think the perspective of the way we come up with a guarantee, it makes it feel like we're just trying to get someone to trust us and get and like literally just make a promise and get them to buy. But that's not necessarily the case. A guarantee is just more so of a framework around guaranteeing that things will get done that will create the success that is statistically what is needed to create success. So essentially, if I get someone who's doing $10 million a year, right? I'm not gonna say, hey, pay me 9K, and then in 90 days, if you haven't gotten you back a return of 9K, then we're gonna refund you. No, I'm gonna ask him, how do you make 10 million? Okay, cool. Let's say every client of yours is worth 50K. Okay, perfect. You understand that in the real world, it's not going to cost us $50 to get someone to give you 50 grand, right? If you are selling a t-shirt of $56, cool. Yeah, forever. Good. Cost per acquisition might be 25. Okay, beautiful. But if your thing that you're selling is so expensive that there's a tiny fraction of society that can even pull that, then you will understand that you will have to invest a little bit more than the average customer client that we have. And here is what our normal guarantees are. And then you give them, hey, normally this guarantee works for customers or clients who are selling an average ticket price of a few $1,000, right? Or maybe at most 10 grand, right?
Yeah.
So if you have $50 a day for 90 days, that's on average 4,500 committed to spend in ads. If you want a $500,000 project, you might need to spend that a week. Now, I'm not. So you see, like your story that anchors them into it, that changes their paradigm because these guys coming from referrals. So they're literally, oh my God, I'm gonna spend money on ads. Yeah, 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 yeah. So and then you get them in this conversation. I'm like, hey, I'm not saying you need to spend that, but I'm saying that if you want us to work together, I need you to understand that there will be an investment required, and we're going to need to test to find the right bucket, cost per lead, cost per interest, cost per booked call. And then from there, we can extrapolate once we get you your first few meetings, extrapolate, okay, how many more of these do you think we would need to convert at least one $500,000 deal? So essentially, what you're selling in this case, you're actually not selling them results. What you're going to need to sell them is a system that can finally give scale and predictability in their own hands. You're not really selling, oh, I've got to give you your $500,000. No, I'm saying, do you want to keep running your business off of hope and referrals? Or are you willing to have run it off of predictability, where I can put together a system where we will know how much it costs us to get one person interested, how many it costs to get someone showing up qualified in project, and then how much it costs to get a project actually in motion. That's what you sell them. You don't
Mhm.
sell, oh, we're going to help you get all these results, because you're going to be shooting yourself in the foot and it's not worth it. And this is a business owner, so it's not like he's looking for you to help him make his first 10K a month. So don't make guarantees in that same model. Like I'll give you an example. We have a client who wants to do webinars. I did not sit there and tell him, oh, like I'm gonna make you a lot of money. I'm gonna do this. No, I just said you're struggling with being able to force people to consume value from you enough to get them to trust you. You want to cook? I showed him our backend, I showed them our infrastructure, I showed them our results. He's like, okay, yeah, let's go. So you see, different avatars they know what they want. So it's important to not always sell to the more broke business owner who is just looking for a lottery ticket, the same way that you sell to someone who already is established, because they're going to understand. Shit, they sell a $500,000 project. Like, if they don't understand that investment is required, then they got to change their business.
So tomorrow we'll have a call with them at 1 p.m. And I normally have my pitch deck, and at the end I have the prices and the
Yeah,
guarantee. So
yeah.
do you recommend me like how can I actually change the guarantee so it makes sense in this case?
I
So I
personally
make a component
recommend.
system.
Do you know how much money they make?
Well, he told me like he was making like 2 to 3 million euros per year, mostly from instructions. I have the
Yeah.
Facebook page. That showed me like the project we're doing, like 3D projects and stuff. And usually they were doing residential, full condos,
Yeah.
commercial projects. So that's
Yeah.
what he was interested in. He said to me like, I don't want to do like apartments and stuff like that. I just want to do full buildings or something that gives me like higher margins technically per
Yeah.
project, because he didn't want like small projects. He said that's the same pain in the ass that a huge project is. So he said, I want big projects. So that's what he told me.
Perfect. Then for me, what I would do is let's just sell them an infrastructure that creates predictability for how they get traffic, how they get interest, how they get conversions. So you're going to need to help them kind of like with that, those 3 steps. And in my opinion, for me, I would mainly structure it so that you're kind of like selling activation points. So it's like, hey, we're going to validate lead flow, and then we're going to validate like booked calls, right? Because I would rather you sell in stages. Like, hey, let's put together first the system that actually creates this. And that has its own guarantee, which is like, hey, if we're not able to generate leads, if we're not able to get you calls, then we can stop working together and after 90 days, right? But you don't also want to just sell that because you're going to shoot yourself in the foot. Meaning, if you just sell them a low ticket, like 5, 10K setup fee, yeah, this is a big company, right? So they're going to need a lot more help. So I would sell the infrastructure, the setup, and then I'll be like, hey, once we have lead flow, I actually want either a kickback per appointment that we generate, okay, or a monthly kind of like retainer for us to actually now scale. Because they literally don't have anything. So you can't just say, oh, we're gonna just go ahead and start managing things for you. No, because then you're almost like taking on the fact that, oh, this is just gonna work. It's not gonna work. You don't know if it's gonna work. So I would rather you lead with that and say, first step, let's validate lead flow and appointments. Once we have validated that, and the way we're going to validate it is with this 3-step system. Okay. And this is what we're going to do to set it up. How much does it cost for us to set this up? Pitch your price. Okay. But then, like, once we unlock this new vehicle that solves your acquisition problems, then let's talk about how we actually optimize the system. I need either to get paid on qualified appointments or qualified interest, or you put them on a retainer even before the 90-day ends, by the way. So that now you can actually be like, okay, now let's scale this. Because you're going to spend a little bit. And this is where it becomes important, where it's like, you were worried about spend. Maybe you give them that 4,500 spend or that 5K spend as the first test for that. We're going to spend 5K to test the system. Once we validate, then we enter phase 2 of our agreement, which is let's get paid on optimization and us keeping scaling your machine. But sell 2 deals. Sell a setup, give me 5K budget or 4,500 budget to test this. Don't give them 90 days, man. Like shit, do it. Spend it in 30 days. Why wait 90 days to see results you would see in a month?
So you mean like the 5K setup for like the build and release system, and on top of that, asking them to invest, let's say 5K in a month for the ad spend.
Yeah.
Am I getting this right? Or
Pitch them, by the way.
sorry?
You haven't pitched price, right?
No, because I told him, look, since you're looking for minimum of 500K projects, I need to have a conversation with my ad specialist so I can get back to you so you can have a clear vision on what's the ad spend.
So for me, I wouldn't. I don't
Required.
know. I know you're in Europe. I know it's whatever, but I don't personally think you should even charge that low. Um, so I think you should do kind of like phase 1 is something like setting up the infrastructure. Boom. So what you're gonna do is how are you gonna get them attention? What are the mechanisms that you're gonna use? How have you thought about helping them? Is like, I mean, I guess there is the creative part and then there is the ads part.
Yeah, so since they don't have actual like content, let's say, they just like have like he showed me the old page he was using with the previous business partners he had. So he was like mainly renders of projects, like when they sell you a new home, but it isn't built yet. So that's the only thing creatively speaking that they had previously. So
How are
right
you?
now, since he doesn't have anything, I was thinking about using something like TryCook to create something for them.
So AI creatives
Yeah, I
and
call
then
it like the content engine.
okay.
Yeah.
Vision. Perfect. And then are you thinking of posting it organically or just mainly using it for ads?
Well, I guess we can actually test it organically and see what performs and eventually going through ads. But since he hasn't run ads, I would definitely go and create something straight away to have like a warm up of the account.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay. So the AI content, AI creatives, and then the cool. Perfect. Then what is the second pillar?
Yeah, so this is like a lead nurture and all the reminders with the customers. Basically, all the GHL email sequences and SMS based on the lead forms we get usually from ads.
Perfect. 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 So, GHL backend. Perfect. And then is there a last piece?
Yeah, so technically I had also the AI sales assistant, but this is more of a WhatsApp triager, let's say, that I wanted to apply.
Yeah.
So it's more, yeah, like since we use all WhatsApp and they're all interested in WhatsApp, I was thinking of implementing that. So having a knowledge base inside WhatsApp so that they can actually filter the clients that are actually interested in a project. And maybe
Uh,
like of course from there I need to see with the business owner if he wants calls booked or what's the next step he'd like to further like actually take contact with the final customer.
yeah. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Cool. Traffic, and then conversion and nurturing systems. Okay. Cool. Perfect. So, yeah. Just say, hey, you need some assets. You need some assets online, right? We can call them sales assets. We can call them content, whatever.
Mhm.
Then they need to use these assets on ads. What kind of funnel are you gonna do? Is it gonna be lead farm? Is it gonna be a funnel? What are you thinking about?
Yeah, I was thinking about lead form, like a meta, essentially, if I'm using like the ad. Because otherwise, I was thinking like I was struggling with this because let's say we use Facebook and Instagram. Like, if somebody is interested, should I just like put a link in bio with a funnel form, let's say, like a funnel with a form inside, or should
Yeah.
we
I mean,
use
yeah, you should have. I mean, you should. Yeah, you should. In my opinion, I think
chat on Instagram would be nice.
personally, I would even say like build their profiles on IG, FB, just dial it in, and even even
Yeah.
take right. So that's kind of like what you're gonna push like them to them. Hey, stage one is that you have no real presence online. Let's put that in, right? That's a function of you have pages that are optimized and you have, AI, an AI content engine helping you create content that is educational, valuable, blah, 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 right? And then the
Yeah.
next traffic, once we have these assets, then we can actually put them into this paid acquisition system to consistently get you traffic at the right from just spending money. And then you're going to need an engine that essentially converts this into people who aren't just curious, but actually are educated, warm, and are kind of like ready to buy, right? Um, and then yeah, say, hey, for us to set this up, there's going to be how do you pitch your price?
So as I'm saying like with Brandon, what I do right now is I do 3 months, like three installments, two for 5K per month. But I don't tell them like it's 7.5K. I just tell them like it's 3 months or 90 days is going to be 2.5K per month. Second
Mhm.
month, second option is like two installments of 3K, or the last one is paid in full 5K today.
Why would you pitch that to someone who's making 2 or 3 million a year?
Well, not really, honestly. In fact, that's why I was thinking of running like two pitch decks that I can choose from based on the client that I have in front of me. But since this one is like a two call close, hopefully a close, but I don't think it's
Uh,
going to be that easy. But let's say like usually like all the calls that I did till now, basically I separated them in two calls. I just like had one, which was one call, but the guy said I had a verbal yes, and then I didn't have anything like from him. I tried to call him, but yeah, I'm still chasing him. So he was a guy with for the 5K payment. But yeah, normally right now I'm doing all two call close setup. So and I'm running this payment split that I just told you?
Maybe I would do some like, I don't know, just give them like, hey, it's 10K over 90 days. Okay, if you
Okay.
said, right? Don't give them like three options. You could do three options, but like, this guy's not really, it's not his problem is bigger than you're giving him three choices. Why? It's not like he's going to the movies, right? So just get your 7.5K. It's going to give you enough margins so you can even invest in actually helping them solve their problems, right?
Okay.
And then just a commitment of, like your 4.5K. Well, commitment of 5K on ads to validate this. And then your guarantee can be, hey, if this doesn't work, I personally like the idea, like, hey, we can give you either, 50% of your money back or keep working for you for free hey, we'll keep working for you for free till we make it work. If we can't, then we'll just refund you. I wouldn't refund the whole thing because they get to keep the system, right? It's not like they don't need the
Yeah, yeah.
system.
Yeah,
So,
because technically it's revenue.
yeah,
You know,
exactly.
like
Even in their current business, they need it. So we'll give you 50% back.
so
And
50% money back, or we work for free until you do.
work for free until you
Yeah,
do,
yeah, and then 50%. Yeah, sorry, it is the reverse.
or a 50% refund if you want to exit. And then the second part is going to be like phase two is once the system is validated, then you go into phase two, which is how do we, which is really how do we 10x results? And results can only be 10x if you double down on more creatives, more and better, more ads, better ads, advertising, right? Just like advertising strategy, like, change audience, maybe milk down, whatever. And then better conversion, right? And then the way that you would probably monetize this is give them an option. I mean, to be honest, I like to take like a piece of this, like 20% of this, and put it 20% of initial setup fee becomes your MRR, and then commission on leading indicators of success, which is, in this case, I don't know how they track it, but in our world, it's like qualified appointments. Maybe that shows up or whatever. Qualified appointments or shows up. That shows up, right? And then here you can do like you can decide what it's going to be. Doesn't have to be anything crazy, but it needs to be something where essentially you need to align your incentives with their incentives. 20% of this initial fee is not going to get you rich, right? It's not really going to change your life. So, well, it can, but we don't want to make it perceived. This is the typical mistake from agency owners. When you have people who you just pay a monthly retainer, and whether they do better or not worse, they don't essentially experience that outcome. By having a commission aligned incentive model, which by adding an incentive structure that is aligned with the business growth, it makes the founder realize like, okay, yeah, these guys are actually incentivized to actually make me win. And it generally will inherently help you win, right? If you end up building a team, you can even say, hey, all this money goes back to the guys that are doing all the prompt engineering on AI, and the media buyer and the systems integrator. So you literally say, you could even say, use that in the pitch. You could be like, hey, we want to have this because we want to incentivize my team to make sure that every single layer here is as good as it can be.
Absolutely.
So
So
this would,
the only thing is like when you mentioned qualified appointments, let's say he's interested in 500K projects and I get qualified appointments. Technically, I'm not qualified since the target is 500K, but let's say they are 250K, which he can consider because of course, like he would not like throw away like a 250K, let's say, project. Would you do if that client is not closed by him, would you still ask a commission on that, or only if he closed the client? Because when I see qualified appointments,
well, an
even
appointment
if
is
it doesn't close him.
qualified appointment doesn't mean someone who's going to buy 500K. That's a client, right? Qualified appointment is someone who has a desire that your client solves, who can find the money, and who is, yeah, like it's they have the problem your client solves, they have the money, they can come up with it. They're like, when you let's say, as an example, someone books a call with my team and they're making let's say they're making 2 grand a month, right? But they say, hey, I have 10 grand, and that person shows up, right? Well, that person maybe can't buy a $50,000 offer, but they can buy a $10,000 thing, right? So they're qualified and they have a desire, right? They have a pain and they show up. Oh, they're qualified, right? And so it's never really about can they buy, it's can they find the money? That's it, right? And also, anyway, who's going to pay 500K cash? Nobody's buying those buildings. They're all using financing from the bank. So it's not like your client doesn't make money from people paying cash. Like it's not, they're not selling like a low ticket thing. So you have to define who the ICP is from them. And if that person shows up for an appointment, you get paid. Doesn't matter if they bought, doesn't matter if they have 50% of the money, doesn't matter if they have 20% of the money. To be honest, it doesn't even matter if they have money. It just matters if they can find the money.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a prospect from
I remember your Loom video where you were talking in, I guess it was inside the Daily Insights with Serge. You were talking about, that's why I was insisting on the guarantee, because you were talking about like a client acquisition, I guess, with clinics, the
Yeah.
clinic stage, I guess. And you were making the example that they had this idea of after a client being a nightmare, that they had actually the idea of removing the guarantee.
Yeah.
And then the sales dropped because then they also reduced the price and stuff like that. So that's why I insisted on the guarantee. The only last question I had here, you told me like to work like for free until we accomplish the goal. But in this case, the goal would just be getting one client.
Work for
Because
free.
yeah, because you said like we work for free until we accomplish like the goal or 50% of
The goal here is validating an acquisition engine. You're okay. So that's also another
showing
thing.
them that it works.
This is also another lesson. If you're going to sell growth systems into different industries, you have to understand that different industries come with different type of revenue cycles. Let me explain. I have a client who went after guys who acquire businesses, and he sold them an acquisition system on ads. He was getting them appointments with really qualified people, right? And he did a structure pricing model where he would actually get paid per appointment, right? And then have a big chunk of his money coming in from the back end. So if a business actually ends up being acquired, he gets 25% of the fee. So in your case, let's say you get 25% of the 500K, right? Because you help them source it. And he was like, yeah, I'm going to get so rich if I actually end up getting a piece of that deal, right? So I don't even care if they pay me a lot of money now. And what ended up happening is he realized that in the world of acquiring businesses, a deal can take 6 months. A deal can take 12 months. So
Yeah.
if you're operating as a service provider, installing an engine, and then also in this case, he was actually spending his own money on ads, and then he was getting paid a little bit upfront per appointment or whatever, but he wasn't making enough to truly be profitable and enjoy just focusing on just generating demand for these businesses. And what ended up happening is, he literally went broke. Like he spent all his money on ads. And the lesson here is, if you're going to play a game where you're in a long sales cycle type of business, like your goal there is not to try to be like, oh, I'm going to take your business that normally takes 6 months to get a deal done, and I'm going to get you, the system I'm building for you is going to just, my guarantee is on getting the client. No, the client can come in 6 months, in 12 months, in 3 years. So if you categorize success as getting them a client, good luck. That's not how it works. Like that's why for me, I'm not positioning this first phase as like, oh, I'm gonna get you a client. If you're dealing with a clinic med spa, yes, someone wants, I need a massage, or I need my back cracked, or I need a chiropractor. I'm gonna get a chiropractor next week or today, actually tomorrow. So if I see your ad, I see your content, I make a decision to transact with you right now. Building a house, I'm not going to promise you that I'm going to get you 500K deals in 90 days. Like Jesus Christ, if that was possible, then I would get into the construction business, right? So it is super careful to not mix guarantees into different business that have sales cycles If it's a sales cycle, it's like if they consider someone and then they buy within like weeks, okay, cool. Then do like the typical like get you X result. Like we'll actually do the guarantee the client. If the sales cycle is months, years, then take a step back and just guarantee the leading indicator, which is, well, you get lead flow. It's essentially here, you're guaranteeing building their pipeline in a predictable way. This is your guarantee. I'm not saying that you don't have a guarantee in the first phase. I'm just saying that stop looking at it from the framework of guarantees in the service industry. This is not a typical service. It's like literally making an investment, right?
Okay. So
That
in
makes-
this case, it would make sense only, let's say, if they do like low ticket jobs, like let's say solar panels, fixtures, installs.
Or like they fix someone's like kitchen or whatever. Like, yeah, that's good. Sales
Yeah, yeah.
cycle short, we're good to go. In like in a month, someone sees a lead and yeah, I can get that person to buy right now, right? I can give them a 20% discount, but you're not gonna give a 30% discount on $500,000. It doesn't work like that, you know?
Absolutely. So yeah, this makes it much more clear because I thought, yeah, I need to get them a client, otherwise they won't buy the product or service. So yeah, the
Mhm.
guarantee was fucking me up.
Yeah, no. Don't take a step back. Look at the game as is. Don't be so narrow. Um, and please increase price. Because I promise you, if you give them a 5K setup, they're gonna doubt that you're actually good at what you do. Because price communicates value and trust. If they give you 5K and you don't do something cool in the first 2 weeks, they're gonna be like, you know what, never mind, But if you get them to pay like a good amount of money, they're gonna be like, shit, I'm all in. Like I gotta pay attention to whatever this person asks me to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool.